Singapore. For some reason, this has always been a dream of mine. And what better way of getting a first view on the city than from one of the highest points in the city, the Singapore Flyer. Being the financial hub that Singapore is for Asia, it has a breathtaking skyline to both sides, both the inner bay and also the outer ocean, with a lot of trade going in and out, and the skyline with the gardens and viewing the Marina Sands Bay from the top was just magnificent. The Marina Sands Bay Hotel and complex is very hard to overlook in the city skyline. It's a huge complex of 3 towers and a ship-like structure on top of it that hosts many bars and just breathtaking views over the skyline. And we had our first Singapore Sling there, right next to the very famous infinity pool overlooking the city. So even though we didn't get to swim in the pool, we had the same view from up there and enjoyed our first sunset experience in Singapore. Every night they put on really interesting light shows that you can best view from the other side of the bay. So we chose to turn in to a bar called The Lantern that was a really nice place in itself, but also allowed for some great views on the show that was happening on the bay while we had our next Singapore Sling. Obviously, we had to take one more Singapore Sling in its birthplace, the Raffles Hotel, probably one of the most prominent places in the city where the drink was created. Singapore has a lot more to offer though. So beneath all the modern architecture, there's a wealth of cultural influence from very diverse backgrounds, one of them being the Sultan Mosque in the Muslim Quarter. Probably the group that influenced Singapore's history most is the Chinese population that immigrated to seek a better fortune. And it's interesting how old colonial style homes blend into Chinese culture in Chinatown, where a lot of the Chinese games and social happenings are giving you another sense for the city. A true pearl in our sightseeing adventure was the Chinatown Heritage Center in Chinatown that pretty much rebuilt the Chinatown of ancient times and showcased the homes of Chinese workers that hosted families in small rooms, 8 people living in the space that today probably students wouldn't even dare to live in. And it was really interesting to get a feel for the ancient way of Chinese trying to make a fortune in Singapore. Right within Chinatown also was the Buddha Tooth Relic Temple that actually hosts one of Buddha's teeth, supposedly. And walking in, we didn't only get to see the beautiful Buddhist art and statues, but we walked right into a prayer ceremony with recitations and Buddhist chants. So that was very interesting to see and a big honor to be witness to. The culture mix of the old Malaya that we were already experiencing in the rest of Malaysia was the same here in Singapore. So India blended right into Chinatown, and walking through Little India and feeling that culture within the city was definitely another highlight of our experience there. The true, really international, diverse highlight, though, was the Peranakan culture. That is a culture emerging out of the blend of many different cultures and finding their own ways and home within this region. If you want to escape the city culture for a while, there is plenty of opportunity in Singapore. We chose to walk the botanical gardens that were almost like a jungle within the city. We saw a lot of wildlife just walking next to us on the trails. We also saw magnificent trees and heard different birds and animals. It was a true nature within city experience. Back into the city vibe, Tiong Bahru is a district within Singapore that is truly hipster, with a fantastic coffee culture and also a wonderful bookstore. We actually even found a book vending machine with mystery books. So definitely a great place to check out for the city experience of Singapore. To top it off, we did the Run for Hope in Singapore, which is a charity event for children with cancer. And apart from just the great cause, we had a fantastic 10K run with wonderful skyline views. So definitely very happy that we put that into the program. Our go-to hangout spot was the Jeanette's Wine Bar, where we hung out pretty much every night. It was very close to our hotel, and we got our nickname from the bartenders. That was the Lovely Ladies. Another wonderful place to spend your evenings is one that I discovered through my MBA professor and mentor, and if I dare say friend, Chris Dalton. The Cays right on the river, which makes for some fantastic sundowners. all in all, we really had a blast in Singapore. Both its modern as well as its ancient worlds. And I'm very curious about the next weeks, and I hope you stay with me when I am going to Bali in my next episode. So I look forward to you following me there, and stay tuned. See you soon.